So with our strategy, when investing in AI startups, we're looking for companies that are leveraging AI in the what or intelligence, and really more concretely that are leveraging machine learning techniques and data in combinations, or algorithms and data in combination, to create real transformative value for their customers. So fundamentally looking at deploying and leveraging AI for the purposes of transforming the enterprise, security, and in general, the platform opportunities and markets. So frontier tech is an interesting term because it can be all encompassing, where we're really focused on our end markets within enterprise and security, that where the role of AI and related frontier tech can be transformative. More specifically to your question, it's markets like supply chain has really benefited, especially in this environment, from more automation, more cost cutting, streamlining, and intelligence, particularly as there is demand to move more goods through the supply chain and inventory paths. On the more sort of enterprise IT side, any sort of offerings that further advance the adoption of cloud and data in the cloud by association are further driving digital transformation for large companies. And that is a classic example where value is being created, and ideally cheaper, better, faster delivery. I would say probably the third bucket is around security, as we are in productivity, as we are all working remotely, including recording this session. Fundamentally, the vulnerabilities for cybersecurity attacks are very, very high, as is the need for high productivity tools from a remote working environment. So any technologies that leverage AI to create value from that perspective could be highly impactful. Interesting question. We as VCs, especially early stage VCs, are not good futurists, because futurists go for 20-year forecasts. We vote with our dollars. So with that caveat, I think some of the, well, we'll see. Let's talk about the workforce. I think working entirely remotely may persist. I think we will see a blended environment where it's a hybrid work environment. I think if there were any negative connotations around working remotely, those, or as lack of productivity or not being, core part to a particular team, I think those are gone. Is 100% remote work the future for 100% of the workforce? I highly doubt it. It will lend itself naturally for some companies and verticals, but not for 100%. I think hybrid is the name of the future in that regard. Well, it's interesting. We have a portfolio company called Armored Things that focuses on physical security. It's an investment that we have made well before COVID existed, to the best of our knowledge. And what they are doing is they're really leveraging AI for crowd intelligence. So in a pre-COVID world, what that meant was, how do you help especially with the physical security side of, public spaces where you have, a high number of individuals, crowds, for example. How do you manage the security in a public, stadium, in a entertainment venue, in a corporate campus or college campus, if you're dealing with anything from accidental fires to perhaps extreme situations of shootings and other activity of that nature? historically that's been handled very manually. It's sort of completely labor intensive. There is a control room that takes advantage of sort of a mic and is trying to direct the crowds in an emergency situation. So what Armor Things has been offering is basically the ability to leverage the intelligence of the crowds to redirect them by through the data that they get through all the connected locks and lighting, sort of the IoT side of it. They extract all that information such that in a case of an emergency, they redirect the crowds to the right exits away from harm's way. Well, with COVID emerging, they actually have taken hold, they haven't changed much in terms of the product, but have taken a whole new meaning and level of offering with their platform, because now they are able to help these very same types of customers with reopening, with contact tracing, with optimizing. For example, if you're in a college campus and there has been an impromptu gathering that was or was not supposed to happen, how do you prioritize sending your cleaning crew immediately there in a timely fashion? And how do you, optimize that, but also track who has been exposed? That's an example. I think anything that leverages data in a privacy compliant and secure manner that brings down the cost of data and ultimately delivers intelligence for businesses. So if I were to decouple that statement, I would say anything around the cloud and smart data infrastructure, automation and augmentation with humans in the loop, security, cyber and physical. We're all working remotely. All of us are now our new points of vulnerability for our businesses where hackers can enter our environment. So that's a big area. And probably certain verticals like supply chain, fintech, and broadly financial services and insurtech as well. I think any AI application that delivers intelligence that is highly quantifiable, whether it is cost saving, whether it is clearly a correlation to revenue generation, and those could be again at the IT infrastructure level, or they could be at the business application layer. Anything that basically fundamentally delivers intelligence that then can be tied back to dollars, the adoption is full force. And if anything, we've seen an acceleration of these types of technologies and their adoption.